Welcome to the channel. My name is Matthias. Today we're going to talk about the USA Avengers by Al Ewing. And we're going to talk about the last two issues of the series, so issue 11 and 12. And it's such a shame how they end the series because it just ends with a whimper. It's surprisingly bad. The USA Avengers will actually disband in the No Surrender crossover. And the lineup of this team, it's really interesting. So it's a shame that they didn't get a proper send-off. So the thing is that with the series, Al Ewing picks up many of the plot threads that Jonathan Hickman had given us during his Avengers run. That basically Sunspot had taken over AIM, he had bought it out, and he had become like a major player in the Avengers side of the Marvel Universe. And the other fact that Cannonball had moved to the Shi'Ar Empire because he was in a relationship with Smasher, who was one of the main members of the Imperial Guard. And I'm not sure if they had a kid yet during this time, but they're going to have one for sure. So the main premise of this story arc is that Cannonball has gone missing in action. His ship had been destroyed by one of those Chitauri Leviathans. He was found by some space scavengers and he was sold off as a slave. And the thing is that he ends up on this planet that feels much like 1950s United States. He doesn't understand what's going on. So obviously the US Avengers with Sunspot and with the help of the Shi'Ar. So they discover that Cannonball is actually on a Skrull planet, but not any old Skrull planet. Like, the people in charge there are part of a breakaway faction of the Skrulls. And to add on top of that, they're a breakaway faction of a breakaway faction because these particular Skrulls had broken away from the main empire and established themselves on a planet and created this world that was very much like the 1930s in the US. Everything revolved around mobsters and organized crime, and it was a really weird concept. But the thing is that they never break character and they're always as humans. They never morph back to being Skrulls. Now personally, I don't know when these particular Skrulls popped up for the first time in Marvel canon, but I do remember them popping up in the Fantastic Four series back when Black Panther and Storm were on the team. Now, the son of the leader of these mobster Skrulls decided to establish himself on another planet. He became heavily fixated on Archie comics and tried to recreate this idyllic 1950s society. Obviously, he ruled with an iron fist, and he brought in Cannonball to see if he can add more authenticity to everything. The thing is that there was this rebellion on this planet because some of these Skrulls discovered the existence of Riverdale, and they were more down with this more modern take of Archie. The story is super meta, but the thing is that Cannonball becomes like the leader of this resistance. Obviously, the US Avengers arrive. We get an okay battle. Like, a couple of these Archie Skrulls are actually some of the Super Skrulls that were battling on Earth during the Secret Invasion. Our heroes prevail, and in two panels we have Sunspot just letting everyone know that he's disbanding the team. Obviously, we get the reference that there's going to be one more adventure with this lineup in the No Surrender crossover. But it's a shame to end a pretty interesting run with such a meh story arc. But we're going to leave things here. I hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time. Bye.